Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Sunday, October 2nd, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Seattle Seahawks vs Detroit Lions. The Seattle Seahawks are in more of a rebuilding year and it's going to be a tough season. They were clobbered by 20 points against the 49ers in their only road game and were dealt a 27-23 home loss by the Falcons last week. The Lions have an improved offense and only lost by 3 points to the Eagles and 4 points last week. Seattle has a poor offense as Geno Smith isn't the answer, and the offense is averaging only 296 total yards per game. Furthermore, the Lions' offense should resume its scoring barrage. Goff has accumulated 256 and 277 passing yards respectively in his last 2 games. Seattle ranks 19th against the pass and doesn't have lockdown corners. While RB Dander Swift is unlikely to play, Jamal Williams is also a force. He amassed 87 yards in Minnesota and has averaged 4.4 yards per rush in back-to-back games. He should feast considering Seattle is pegged 31st against the run. Our team pick is Detroit Lions minus 4.5 points. The Lions are going to be without St. Brown and Swift on Sunday. These 2 players have a huge impact on the Lions' offensive playbook, and without them, Detroit's offense could be off to a slower start. Combined, St. Brown and Swift have accounted for 5 of the Lions' 12 touchdowns and 52% of the yards earned. Goff did ensure he is comfortable with the replacements, which is a good sign for the Lions. Josh Reynolds, WR, DJ Chark, WR, and TJ Hawkinson, T, were questionable to play throughout the week, however, are now expected to play Sunday. If the Lions could keep up with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, then they can keep up with the Seahawks. Our total pick is under 48 points. New York Jets vs Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a matchup of 2 struggling teams offensively, as they are both below average when it comes to putting points on the board. They deviate from the current plans at quarterback as the Jets look to have Wilson back under center this week after missing part of the preseason and the first 3 regular season games with a knee injury. Meanwhile, the Steelers are sticking with Trubisky, at least for this week, as opposed to first-round pick Kenny Pickett, in a hope that the veteran can spark the offense. Pittsburgh has key veterans on both sides of the ball that can be leaders, while the Jets are still a young team looking to make a mark. The Steelers have extra rest in their pocket plus the home crowd. Lean their way as the Jets finish their tour of the AFC North on a negative note. Our team pick is Pittsburgh Steelers minus 3 points. A lot has been made of the quarterback competition in Pittsburgh after rookie first-rounder Kenny Pickett impressed in the preseason. Still, the QB position isn't the only concern following a 1-2 start. This week appears to be the Steelers' most likely victory on the upcoming schedule, as game end against the Bills, Buccaneers, Dolphins, and Eagles are next up. After that, Pitt hosts the Saints and Bengals before a road trip to Indianapolis. That's not to mention that the Steelers still have 2 games against the rival Baltimore Ravens to play later this season. Getting a rookie signal caller acclimated during that stretch would be sacrilegious, to say the least. If Wilson were healthy and the Jets were at full strength on the offensive line, an argument could be made to bet the over. That's not the bet I would be making this week, given the circumstances. 4 of these teams' 6 combined games have gone under, and 14 of the last 16 between them have gone under a total of 40.5 points. I'm expecting Wilson to create some magic, but he won't pull several touchdowns out of his hat. A lower scoring game is in the cards yet again this weekend. Our total pick is under 41.5 points. Jacksonville Jaguars vs Philadelphia Eagles. Jacksonville bounced back from a season-opening defeat as they have dispatched the Colts and Chargers in the last 2 weeks. The Jaguars improved to 2-1 on the year and sit atop the AFC South on the season entering this contest. Against the Chargers, Jacksonville broke open a scoreless game by outscoring the Chargers 16-7 in the second quarter to take the lead at the half, then held a 22-3 margin in the second half to roll to the victory. The Jaguars rolled up a 413-312 advantage in total offense, piled up 25 first downs while allowing 16, dominated time of possession by a 38-27 to 21-33 margin, and forced the game's only 2 turnovers. We've seen Jacksonville play much better in the first 3 weeks of this season compared to how things unfolded last year. It's a clear indication that Urban Meyer, for all his success at the FBS level, was ill-suited to run an NFL team. Jacksonville spent a truckload of cash in free agency to try and bolster their roster in the offseason. So far, it has paid dividends, though it could be a rough outing for them here. Philadelphia is an aggressive defensive team, and they have the ability to do damage through the air and on the ground. Hurts has developed nicely into a dual-threat quarterback, and the acquisition of Brown was a big piece for the Eagles' passing game. This game is in Philadelphia and the Eagles are cooking right now. Give the points and take the hosts in this contest. Our team pick is Philadelphia Eagles -6.5 points. I have a feeling this is going to be a shootout. Maybe not a Lions-Eagles Week 1 type of shootout, but both these offenses have proved that they can move the ball. Doug Peterson knows a lot of these Eagles defenders and certainly knows their weaknesses after practicing with them every day for years. He will look to exploit them with his playmakers. The Eagles have continued to put up points and have fantastic first halves where they appear to score at will. Until someone shows me they can stop it, I'm going to keep on believing that they have one of the best defenses in football. There is talent everywhere you look on the Eagles' offense, and as long as Hurts continues to play how he's been, this offense will generate points. Expect big-time fantasy days from these two teams. Our total pick is over 45.5 points. Washington Commanders vs Dallas Cowboys. Washington got off to a strong start this season with a win over Jacksonville, but it has proceeded to lose to Detroit and Philadelphia in its last 2 games. The Commanders were dominated in their 24-8 loss last week as quarterback Carson Wentz was sacked 9 times. He fumbled the ball twice, losing one of them, and he threw for just 211 yards on 43 passes. The offense generated 240 total yards, with wide receiver Terry McLaurin catching 6 passes for 102 yards. Their defense struggled as well, allowing 340 passing yards and 3 touchdowns to Philadelphia's Jalen Hurts. They are now giving up 27.3 points per game overall this season, which ranks number 28 in the NFL. Dallas is a bad matchup for a Washington defense that is struggling to slow down opposing rushing attacks right now. The Cowboys have a pair of quality running backs in their backfield, which will allow them to control the tempo and field position on Sunday afternoon. Rush might not be able to make all the plays that Prescott can make, but he has been playing efficient football. Washington has had issues against good defenses, as Wentz was sacked 9 times by Philadelphia. The Cowboys have covered the spread in 7 consecutive divisional games, and they are poised to cover again on Sunday. Our team pick is Cowboys -3 points. After beating a respectable Jacksonville team, the Commanders have struggled defensively each of the last 2 weeks. Washington comes into this game at 1-2 after the Commanders' offensive line was dominated for 4 quarters against the Eagles last Sunday. Carson Wentz has been solid with Washington this season despite his struggles last week, but he and the Commandeers' offense couldn't get anything going against Philadelphia. Wentz put up good numbers the first 2 weeks of the season against Jacksonville and Detroit, with the new Commanders quarterback passing for 337 yards against Detroit in a losing effort. Dallas's defense is playing very well right now, and Washington's offensive line has struggled against stronger defensive fronts. Parsons and Lawrence should both be able to put pressure on Wentz, who has not looked good when he hasn't had a clean pocket. Washington has talent at receiver, but they haven't been able to run the ball consistently or protect Wentz with their inconsistent offensive line. Cooper Rush is playing well, but Dallas is still limited at receiver with Gallup out and Cooper gone from last year. McCarthy also likes to be conservative with a lead. Dallas is likely to keep the ball on the ground if they are able to build an early lead. Washington's offensive line didn't hold up in pass protection last week. The Commanders will also likely look to focus more on running the ball and short passes to keep Dallas's strong defensive front from pressuring Wentz. Our total pick is under 41 points.